That's nuts. More nuts than trading the stock market. All right, guys. I'm going to set this up for you. Very important. All right. Look at this candle pattern here. Okay, the only way to invalidate this at this point is if we gap over last week's high and we hold it and we directly go to all-time high. Then this pattern kind of invalidates here. But by the looks of it, Tuesday we should still be in range. We're up here. And don't mind these candles being a different color. I'm looking at the broader picture here because it lines up with my thoughts. There's too many puts, too many people calling for a double top. Market should have crashed already. And the thing is, since Tuesday, December 19th, we haven't gone anywhere. We had this pullback, great, but we're like right back here. Same pattern as here. I remember this from June, and then we caught that whole move. So it definitely lines up with what I'm looking at, and it also lines up with this in a sense that we want to catch this rally. So can we get a pop and a pullback and then rally? Yes, we can. And this is obviously the original sports calendar, and we haven't really gone anywhere. You know what I mean? But more so, I'm playing this pattern. Now again, just to be clear, and I've set some alerts here because you have to react with this high. Anything above 48.18 we squeeze. It should be pretty heavy resistance, as you see. However, let's look at the internals here a little closer so you get the feel for it. The MAs have the same type of setup. All right. What we should see here, if you see here, you have this pop. We had that pop. We come down. We're doing the rebound. We should pull back, meaning Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. With some volatility, we should go lower. And then OPEX, if we come down, if OPEX holds the 21, we should start a nice week and a half long rally. Okay? Into FOMC, which then we can either keep going or start a reject all the way into the next FOMC if this continues to track. But also, if you look at the TTM, it's the same type of setup. Okay? So the STO, even if you look here, even the MACD is set up kind of the same way. So I think we're tracking this. We'll know Tuesday if we just go or if we indeed have that pullback. All right. So hopefully you internalize that. Okay. As far as all the puts and the calls, you have a situation where this is the 7-day expiry, which kind of says that we don't have such a deep pullback. And the reason being is unlike this pattern, we came up earlier. We're supposed to have had quite the pullback, but we've kind of resolved the need for that bigger pullback with time. So in a market, you either get a really steep pullback that bounces or you go sideways. And we kind of have done both, honestly. And even broader picture, yes, we had this cup pullback handle, but we've also completed a complete cup. It would be nice to get a pullback down to here. We will go down here, but I think it comes later in the spring. I think we might have a leg up here. All right. And the 2-week shows the same. There's puts though, but they can be so-called fuel. All right. Market's a little unsure. Now, obviously last week was littered with this Bitcoin bullshit, and I think it's I mean, personally, yeah, you can get on the pump and dump wagon all you want, but the fact of the matter is that I said Bitcoin was going to 50,000 by early this year when we were down here, when my timing model gave a buy signal. So it's almost doubled, or it kind of did, from 25k to 49. So, I mean, whatever. I still think it's, not for me. Now, about banks. Why about banks? Well, banks earnings are still going on next week. You have Goldman Sachs, Morgan Stanley, big ones. You got, this is going to be very interesting. Charles Schwab, Discover, then you got TSM. So, and regional banks. So maybe, just maybe, that KRE move is in fact all those regional banks. Very, very plausible. So I'm not writing that move off yet. But this is interesting. Obviously we had 175 calls. It hit well in the money and then rejected for a second try of the 21. I'm going to put an alert here and see if this holds, because if this doesn't hold, this can easily see 157, and if it holds, look at the stow. This could easily bounce and just go to all-time highs again and beyond, and really start a crazy ass leg up, because you got the cup pullback. We get a pretty fast handle, so keeping an eye on this, and obviously Schwab, since they have earnings. Here. All right. This has that KRE look, and I think it's gonna go. We'll see. Okay. Bought some Oxy end of day just to see if we get a pop on Monday, if shit hits the fan more. If it doesn't, I'll probably quickly get out. Those contracts were 10. Could this be on the daily a higher low and we start chugging up? Yeah, easy. Is it gonna have a hard time getting over 60 if it doesn't gap? Yes. So if it's got momentum and can clear the 9 and the 21, yeah, I'll write it up here. But I would like a gap, but it's not gonna gap $2, but it can pull it. I like that this is a, obviously this is gonna just crater if it rejects here. All right, so got to keep an eye on it. IWM, we got strength early February. VIX, there was a lot of VIX calls coming in and circulating online and this and that, but they were not that big if you compare them to all the calls we have, and it could easily be an institutional hedge. Obviously, there's nothing, if you want to throw money away, there's nothing better to do than throwing them away at VIX premiums. And they like all the VIX call boys, in my opinion, they're like, I don't know, there's just so freaking indices puts pay better. Like, I don't know the fascination with VIX calls. I really don't get it. They're, it's like UVXY. It's never, ever gonna go back to where it was. Even on like a complete market crash, it's not gonna go up there. They're pro shares. It's just not talked about. That's why it gets crushed and crushed and crushed and crushed. Okay, and it all correlates with how much the public is willing to pay for puts. Okay, now Dixie was relatively strong last week, but look at this. Like when you zoom out, once this starts rejecting, which I think it will based on the stow and the MACD, you could call this a big giant bear flag in the big scheme of things. And just like here, same setup, we can start coming down, you know, the stow here. If this starts heading down, this is the rally I'm talking about, because then we go under 100. 10-year yield, that's the weekly candle, a back test, weekly bear flag. On the daily, once this gives and we get under the party line, you get the rally down to here. Oil, again, the game's changed. The game has changed. This should be so much higher than it is, but it's not anymore. I mean, I posted that video of them protesting in the Middle East. I mean, you bet your ass they're not giving us the same stuff, so that's why oil is down. Very interesting, still in range, a little down here. I'm expecting a huge spike here any day now. But that's like overall. I'm awaiting a pullback that is buyable for a rally past all-time highs, target 4,900, then retrace all of spring, and then we are gonna hit 508 on SPY this year. That's my price target as of now, for political reasons and coinciding with rate cuts. Okay, if I see something different and higher than 508, I will let you know. Now, some individuals, obviously we played beautiful meta moves this week, quite incredible actually. And if we get this dip in the market I am talking about, and we still hold this trend channel on meta, it's buyable this time from here to all-time highs. That's gonna be one of my main trades, and I know that Snowman, for instance, is a great meta trader and always seems to be in when it's ripping, so that's fun. Now, LMT, obviously I was looking at it on Thursday, didn't know that we were gonna start bombing, so, but caught that move, beautiful move. Now here's the thing, unless we gap above and hold, get out, because they will kill premiums and they can do it pretty fast. Is this volume shelf retest buyable? Yeah, you're gonna have the 21 come up, and that 21 is buyable, as is probably the 9. So I'm back into playing LMT. If this gaps, I'm gonna take profit, and then I'll hold runners until, you know, if they dip it, we'll have to see. And then I'm probably gonna start looking at positions to the upside post earnings. Why? Look at this consolidation. It is absolutely insane. The fact that this is the Israel in, you know, Gaza thing starting, and then you've just built the biggest freaking volume shelf there is, and then you finally have a fake breakout, comes down, they buy it again off the 200, send it. It should, if it breaks through here, price target is 474, and can come fast, especially with action. If not, probably post earnings. I mean, all of DC are in this. This is gonna do a Nvidia type of move. This was a crazy ass day trade. Now, I wanted to speak a little bit about this. Now, last week, obviously on SPY, my two best trades, and frankly, had I just done 2 trades, I would probably have had the best week I've ever had, except, you know, when I did that legendary oil purchase. But that was, you know, that was like a once in a lifetime opportunity, which will probably come again. So I'm not going to say that, but buying the COVID oil dip. The reason I swung so heavy on my 476, if you guys, let's go back to Monday morning, right? So Monday morning we open up and I look, I see, I get my range, right? Where was Monday? Monday, yeah. So we open up here, right? And I see that my top of the range is 478, a little more. And I just noticed how cheap the calls were. So I grabbed 480s and 476s. The 476s ran 350%. And I replicated that again here by buying 474s, right? Just based on market internals, right? And they also ran like 350. So that's 2 SPY swings 700%. And I know, depending upon, you know, yes, we had that end of year rally. It wasn't the easiest to play because you had to catch the data moves, right? Then there was a lot of chop. So right now, since we've done this and we're gonna have a pullback, we could even, I'm not saying we go down to here, but we could even go to like, there's a few levels there and you can see them right here. 474, 472, and 470. If we lose 470, you know, and we start going down, this is the last that needs to hold. I don't even want to test the FOMC level at this point. Reason being, 467-ish would be for a W pattern. Okay, but we don't want to go under that. And if we reach down here and we bounce, it's gonna be a really good opportunity to swing, let's say, a week out or something close to the money, because then we know that that FOMC level holds a retest, and the likelihood of it chugging up to FOMC is quite big. Okay, because FOMC is here. Okay, so this is a 4-year trend line. Okay, this is it goes back longer than that, but just to like show you guys. So on the weekly, it's a major trend line, and it goes even more back than February 20th. You can pull it all the way down to here, right? To 18. So this trend line is major, major, major. Okay, as you can see, rejected, rejected, but it works as a magnet. Okay, so if we go above here, which would be over all-time high, this market will squeeze straight up. That's what I mentioned in my TikTok video. No, I know no one's talking about this scenario out there because, you know, whatever. But look at this weekly volume candle. Okay, it's 81% buy volume, 18 sell volume. We're right on that 4-year trend line. It's actually a 6-year trend line. It's a huge spot. Okay, we're right on it. So if we reject and hold, once we get over this, and if you look back, it's rejected there, it's rejected here. If we can get above this, the market's going fast. So swinging, when I post the weekly range on Monday, mark it down. I mean, we usually respect it, or it gives us a sense of, and shit can happen, but like the risk reward of longing the low or shorting the high of that range is really good. And if you don't know what you're doing with premiums and this and that and day trading and respecting it and knowing how, you know, when's the window they're going to decay it, slap it, you know, positioning, out the money, in the money, all of this stuff, your best chance is to just ride it for a while and take your profit. So That's why I added some size this week. Am I gonna add the same size on a Lily trade? I wish I had, but of course not. You know, same with Coinbase. But I have to speak on premiums. I know a guy who shorted at 155, and he had 130 puts. They completely screwed those premiums up. He didn't get much. I know it sounds crazy, but Coinbase premiums have been absolutely screwed, right? Now, I know, so I'm just urging that if the setup's there, like if you have a setup like this where the daily MACD crosses and everything lines up, add some size and sit on it, you know, with a few days and get that money if you're not yet at the level where you psychologically can scalp. See what I'm saying? And also, you probably noticed that if I was starting to scalp this week, I was also sitting on some hefty gains on some runners, whether it was the 476s and 474s. It's boring to trade like that, but so what? I mean, we're after the money. You know, when I trade Meta, for instance, I'll trade the opening move. If you follow me in the mornings, I mean, that day that it had that insane move this week here, I said Meta or Microsoft 1 minute before open. First leg, I was out. Waited, played it again. Sold right there. Okay, so I'm not sitting in it, I'm scalping it, as opposed to SPY, you know, the premiums move different. I'll ride it for a while. All right, so next week, let's see here. There's a few buy levels I'm going to put an alert right here at like 34 on Unity. I want to buy the 200 UPST. Same thing, I already have my alert. I want to buy the 200. Why? The market internals have respected this buy by doing it off Apple. Okay? And as far as Apple, I mean, I think the rally, we might, you know, hit here and reject, come down, bounce off of the 9, and then fill this gap. That's the market rally I'm looking for here. Tesla, talk about getting fucking obliterated. That move didn't work because, you know, Elon's the bad guy, right? Can bounce here. If it doesn't, it is 195, probably into earnings, and then we'll see the faith of Tesla if it's gonna bounce back and come up here to 230 and hit that trend line when it comes down. As you see, like I could see a move down to here, bounce up to here, and then get killed, something like that. QQQ, pretty much same as SPY here. You got this, we could get a cup like this, cup, hit all-time highs, pull back, and then go. That's what I'm looking for. Okay, let's check some dark pool while we're at it. I posted some in the chat. You don't want to work. Come on. There we go. All right, so there was some end of day Oxy dark pool. I like that. Okay, but we haven't seen this on UPST in a long ass time. I don't even know if you see it on the 15 minute, but we're not the only ones looking at that 200. And again, as far as IWM, we have early strength in February, so something to keep an eye on. Where is it? Here. We might get some volatility, but February should be good for IWM. LMT obviously they've been accumulating this dark pool for a while, looks strong. SPY, I mean, they're still holding it. basically getting ready for that move I talked about. So I'm gonna keep an eye on Unity this week as well. They haven't, besides that one move that we caught this week, this bounce back, they're accumulating. They're not like heavy buying like we saw that print on UPST. We got a 4-day week. We just had a new moon, and that's the market internals right now. I mean, I know there's a lot of crazy politics going on and all this shit show bullshit. We're just gonna keep doing our thing, guys. And personally, I'm gonna try. Obviously, if I see a setup, I'll call it out. But I'm gonna try to go a little heavier on some more solid trades, because that really worked. Yes, last week, because the market was following through until it didn't on Friday afternoon. All right, guys. I will see you next week. God bless.